and Rebecca Berry. Amanda, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that severe thunderstorm watch that was just issued, because all morning long we've been talking about a tornado watch that had been in effect until 11 a.m. They let that expire, and then they reissued a severe thunderstorm watch because the threat for tornadoes is there today. But I think we're looking at a higher threat for damaging winds within some of those severe thunderstorms. So overall, the threat level today, this yellow shade, is a level 2 out of 5 on that Storm Prediction Center scale. And again, we're looking for those gusty winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour in some of the strongest storms. It's what we saw yesterday. Some of those storms did do damage. We could see that again today. There is a low risk for some small hail and, of course, that low risk for an isolated tornado or two. So here's where that severe thunderstorm watch was just issued. It is in effect for our entire area. This one does include Sarasota and Highlands County. That tornado watch earlier did not, but now that severe threat has it is going to be a little bit more widespread as these storms continue to come in. So I'm going to bring in meteorologist Rebecca Berry, because we are talking about the threats today, all of the hazards in play. We have kind of all the ingredients there for the severe weather today.
Yes, and so it's just a matter of timing at this point. If we do get the right amount of energy and the right amount of lift and the right amount of instability as to if we see those severe elements. And so let's talk about what elements we're seeing out there. The first is a low-level jet stream winds. And so this is our potential for very strong and very high straight level winds. You know, straight level winds can be just as damaging as tornadic winds or rotating winds. It doesn't matter if that wind is rotating or if it's straight line. If it's 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, it does a similar amount of damage. You just don't get the rotation with it. And so what we're looking at, areas in orange, is where we see that 50, 55 mile per hour threat of winds. And so our upper level winds are very high right now. And as we make our way through the day today, we're going to see some areas that are more enhanced. And so we're talking Newport Richey as we make our way into 2 o'clock. We're talking all the way crossing Citrus County, Hernando County, and Pasco County, even into Pinellas County, the threat of some winds between 50 and 55 miles per hour. Now, we do see an isolated threat crossing Polk County by about 4 o'clock of some 60 mile per hour winds, and that's where we see real damage. And as we make our way through the afternoon and evening hours, that's when we see the chances for the stronger winds moving over to the east coast. So that's the first element. The next is the significant hail forecast, and this is something we'll be dealing with particularly in our southern counties this afternoon as those storms start to sweep offshore. So by 1:15, right along the Hillsborough County, Manatee County line, so from Bradenton all the way out to Lakewood Ranch, we have a moderate threat of hail. And so hail's possible because the cooler temperatures are in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and we've got a ton of lift that's bringing all that moisture up there. We do have the potential for some hail. That potential moves off over towards the east coast by the evening hours, and we start to get a little bit quieter. So we do have a risk, about a 15% risk for a damaging wind threat out there for the entire area, but especially along the coastline. When you look at the elements that we're most concerned with today, of course, we're looking at the heat energy and moisture out there. When we get down to the low level jet, it's more of a moderate, and then that wind shear is the lowest threat for today. So scattered strong storms expected, and the biggest threat today is wind gusts, and that's something that Amanda Holly's been tracking all week long.
Yeah, we certainly saw some of those yesterday, Rebecca, and we're going to potentially see those again today. We've been tracking some strong storms this morning. Luckily, none of them have been severe so far, but we do have several hours to go. This severe thunderstorm watch that was just issued, it is in effect until 5 p.m. because this batch of storms that's developing out in the Gulf of Mexico, that's going to move onshore and tap into some of that available energy as we go through the day. So when we look at the radar over the past 30 minutes, the main thing that I've been watching is the thunderstorms out in Polk County. There have been some very heavy rain, some gusty winds, even some lightning. A lot of that activity starting to wane down just a little bit. But I am watching some of those thunderstorms that are out in the Gulf of Mexico. Unfortunately, though, we still have some heavy rain making its way through Lake Wales, Highland Park, Indian Lake Estates. You're about to get in on another downpour as well. But we're just seeing some light rain at the moment up in Citrus County and Hernando County. Nothing severe. I'm going to be watching for some of these pockets back here, though, to move onshore and to tap into some of that energy and possibly produce some of those stronger wind gusts as we go through the afternoon hours. Our forecast models haven't been doing a great job at projecting the rain as we head into the afternoon hours, but it is mainly going to be a line of scattered storms that are going to move from north to south through the evening hours and kind of diminishing as it moves off to the south. But again, here are some of the look at the main hazards. Slight risk for that isolated tornado. The best chance, though, for us to see a severe thunderstorm, it's most likely going to be the wind damage that we'll be looking at, and that risk for some small hail. I don't think we'll see too much flooding. If we see any flooding today, it would be very brief. Stacey.
All right. Thanks, Amanda and Rebecca. And